your identity, especially against a team playing the second in 2 nights?
Yeah, I mean, I think to your point, they ended up cross-matching and doing some different things matchup-wise. I think once guys started to get a beat on how we needed to play, I actually thought we generated pretty good shots. I thought the problem in that first quarter was I thought we drove quite often up against Lopez and Zubats. And we had sprays, and I think as the game went on, we did a little bit more of that. And obviously, it was a huge second quarter for us. But I liked how we were trying to play in the first quarter. To your point, we didn't really make a lot of shots, and maybe some of the decisions at the basket could have been sprays to the perimeter. But we put together some stops, and we were able to get out in transition. And we just kept, I think, trying to keep a real good pace and the identity of just getting out on misses and makes and trying to run.
Coby's been talking all season about that need to find his rhythm by playing games, and you're in this stretch where day off games, so he's able to. How important is it for him to make 13 threes in the last 2 games?
I'm just happy for him, because it's been a long road back for him. In terms of just to see him every day put the work in, going to get treatment, doing what he can do, getting on the floor, trying to work on the things, that will help his rhythm. And it's hard, you miss an entire training camp, you miss part of the ending part of the summer. You're trying to get yourself back. So I'm just happy for him because I'm around him and I see how hard he works and how invested he is in the team. And I just got great respect for him, and he just puts his head down and just grinds and works every day.
With the shot balance in this game, especially from some players like Matos, was kind of closer to that ideal that you talked about of the majority of stuff is either right at the rim or from 3-point range. Yep. How do you sustain that style and kind of that identity from here on out?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, when you look at the margins, like I've said before, we have not been a team that forced a lot of turnovers. We've tried to place an emphasis on going to the backboard. We're better than we were a year ago, but I wouldn't classify us as a great offensive rebounding team. But we give good effort on it, and sometimes we come up with them, sometimes we don't. Some of the long threes help us do that, right? So the next thing you have to look at is your shot profile, right? And one of the things that we've got to try to really be good at is what kind of 2-point shots are we taking? And it was like, for example, we got to the rim on a couple, but we got some shots blocked where they probably needed to be sprayed out. And sometimes some of the teams are living in that non-painted 2 area or even rim 2. And if we can kind of eliminate that, and take the right ones for ourselves, that kind of helps us on the margins, so to speak, just trying to make sure the shot profile is good. And I think the guys understand, how we've got to play. We certainly want to get out in transition and get downhill and attack the basket. But when there's help there, we've got to spray it, we've got to move it, we've got to be themselves. We've got to generate shots for each other. And as long as we're taking good shots, the biggest thing I look at the end of every game, on the analytics stuff is, one is, how many closeouts are we creating? How many potential assists are we generating? And then the other part of it will be, what is the contest rate against us? Are we shooting a lot of tough shots, whether it's in the mid-range or at the rim or behind the line? And these guys have done a really good job moving the ball and sharing it, and for the most part, generating good shots.
Billy, I wanted to ask you about Ayo. The reason the Bulls were able to get him where they did was the consensus was he couldn't shoot.
Right.
It wasn't that just he couldn't shoot. He wasn't going to be able to shoot because the ball was down here and he was bringing it up, and he hasn't shot well. This year he's shooting great. What have you seen in the change of him in the development of his shot and his ability to shoot at this level?
Somebody was asking me, I think it was last game, about the player development stuff, maybe some of the younger guys in Brooklyn, and I think I made the comment that most organizations have things set up and in place to help players grow and develop. The other part of it is when you've got a player that is really, really, really committed to wanting to get better and improve, generally guys are going to really get better. But there's an internal drive there. I think you see it with Coby. Coby's had that throughout his career. I think the reason Coby has gotten better every year is because of his internal drive. Ayo's the same way. He's incredibly driven to improve. And I think if you look at every year, there's different things he's had to add into his game. And he's really worked hard on his shooting. He really has. And, he had that shoulder issue, which may have been causing somewhat of a problem. I'm trying to make excuses for him. But he's another guy, in the summertime, being from Chicago, he's in that gym twice a day. every day, investing. So I think it's really more the investment that he's made, and I think as he's gone through a few years in the NBA, he can see these areas that he's got to get better. I think the one thing was when, after his rookie year, that second year, teams kind of took away his strength and what he was doing, and then he kind of figured out some other things. And last year he had the shoulder problem, but he's always, I think, trying to figure out how to get better and what he's got to do in terms of how teams are guarding him. And he's another guy that's made a huge investment in that part of it.
I mean, I get development, but not everybody's in the top 10 in the league in shooting, and he never looked like his shot was going to go in. Now, looks like he's going to make it, and there's a big difference between.
I always felt like when I was around him, it was the craziest thing. His rookie year, I think he took one shot off the dribble from the three-point line. He'd never taken off dribble three, right? So you got to work it. But I would say this about his shot: I thought he always had good rotation. I thought he had, I know it was a little bit low to what you're talking about, but you know what? Like, it wasn't like broken. He's had to rely on that a lot more. I think he's invested a lot more, but I always felt like he had a good touch. Even some of the preseason games, you had him in at the end of his rookie year. Like, he wasn't afraid to take big shots. He made some big shots. He made some runners and floaters in the lane. I always thought he had pretty good touch. But, I think because he put the work on it, and he had a good touch, I think that's helped him get a lot better.
But to that point, like, the thing about his three-point shooting that's standing out to me is, like, it's not coming at the expense of his rim attacks. Like, that's still his main focus. He's got a nice mixture, is I guess the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, I think there's been some times earlier on in his career where he's had shots and he has bypassed those shots to try to get downhill. And when you keep just going downhill, eventually teams are just going to back up off of you, and even when you're still trying to drive, you're not taking what the defense is giving you. I think he's been really decisive on when he's open, he's shooting, and when he's got a hard closeout, he's putting it on the floor. And to your point, I do think he's created a good balance, and he's mixed up a lot of different things into his game.
Thanks a lot, Billy. We
Okay, yep, thank you.
We had over, again, 40 assists. So we try to do it as a collective, like we want to play to our identity. And so for us, whether we're missing or making shots, we live with the looks that we got tonight. So
6 more threes from you tonight. Can you just talk about the zone that you've been in lately?
It's only been 2 games. Like I said, I just want to take it game by game, and hopefully just continue to stack games, God willing. I continue to stack games, and just take what the defense gave me tonight, and I'll try to do it the last game too as well. So, like I always say, I try to be grateful and thankful, and I get these opportunities to play, especially here in the UC. So
collectively, the transition buckets were really big tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we knew that they were on a back-to-back, and so we knew we had to play their identity even more in terms of answer backs, getting back, just try to take advantage of the opportunities we did have when we had numbers. And I think we got to our spacing really well tonight, and allowed guys to get downhill and make plays. So.
Coby, we've talked about this season just about the idea that this team can kind of maximize its offense if you focus just on trying to have the majority of shots be either from three-point range or just at the rim, kind of try to shave off everything else.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is kind of important about making that identity kind of work, stay consistent?
I think that for our team, that's kind of a lot of our strengths as guards, and then as bigs as well, except for, Vu's going to shoot his floater and his midi, because he shoots like in the 90 percentile. So, but other than that, I feel like a lot of our strengths is guards who can really shoot the ball and then really put pressure on the rim. And we know that, the mid-range too is not a great shot analytically. We want our shot profile to be layups and threes. So that's kind of how we want to do it. And it's been very beneficial for us this year. So for us, obviously there's going to be moments where you got to take those mid-range, those floaters, late clock, and, that's the only thing that's open. but we try to stick to our shot profile for the most part of the games.
59 again from your bench tonight. Can you just talk about that? Seems to be the theme when you guys are playing your best basketball. Those guys are contributing.
Yeah, I think like we've been saying from the beginning of the year, like the way that we want to play, what we want to do as a unit. It takes 1 through 15, however many guys we got. So for us, the bench has been key the last couple of games, and they've been really good all year. Obviously, Ayo's having a career year shooting the ball. Trey comes in, brings the energy. Kev comes in. I can go down the line that all the guys. DT has been shooting the ball really well. So for us, we want to continue to build and take it game by game, obviously. And but like I said, the bench has been really, really, really good all year.
Coby, I know you said you're a shooter, not so much this year until recently, but you're a shooter. Ayo hasn't been.
Am I a shooter?
Yeah,
I'm just a shooter.
You're a scorer. You're a shooter too. But we're
Yeah.
accustomed to seeing you make shots for a long time. We haven't been accustomed to see Ayo shoot like this. What are you seeing?
You haven't?
No.
I feel like
Check his career stats.
What's his career from 3?
33, 32. Shot
You know that for
31
a
last
fact?
year.
Sam, I believe you because you
I'm making a
check
positive
facts.
point
Nah,
for
you
him.
check facts. Yeah, for sure.
The point was he's in the top 10 in three-point
Yeah.
shooting in the league now.
Mhm.
You as a shooter, what are you seeing in him that's he be able to change his shots to make the point that he's so reliable now?
I don't think he really changed his shot. I just think he's in the flow state right now. And I think, like I always say, for me, I've seen him since we was like 15, 14 years old, and for me, he could always shoot the ball. Obviously you're gonna have ebbs and flows in the league, but I think his confidence is at an all-time high, and it's really to the point now where he shoot and like I feel like everyone's surprised even if he misses. So you think everyone he's shooting is going in just by the way it's coming off his hand. And like I always say, you got to give credit to the work. He puts in time and time and time, especially coming off his injury, his surgery last year. This summer, he just put time and time on the shot and picking and choosing the shots. And I think it can't go unnoticed of how great he's been, like moving without the ball to find open space, to find windows, to get his shots off. So he's putting a lot of work in that area, and that's something that I'm trying to take from him as well, is moving without the ball and finding windows to create opportunities for my catch and shoot. So like I said, you got to always give credit to the work he's put in.
But the knock on him coming out of college was, he couldn't get to the basket. He's
That was
fast.
a knock. I seen him
No,
hit some game
he
winners.
couldn't shoot. How
Some
do you
game
think he
winners
ended up
at
in the
Illinois.
second round?
He wasn't supposed to go second round, Sam.
But he ended
wasn't supposed to go second round, Sam.
But wouldn't that to talk that his shot's not going to translate to the NBA?
To be honest, I didn't know the talk.
No, you weren't scouting.
No, I wasn't scouting. I just knew when he was at Illinois, he go back to Champaign. He a legend, so my dog a legend. So he crunch time, always in the clutch. I remember going to Cameron Indoor, he getting his game off. That's what I remember, Sam. That's what I remember.
Coby, how are you feeling with your game being more comfortable at this point?
I feel good. Like I said, I just want to take it game by game. Like you said, in this league, you can never get too high, too low. I just want to take it game by game, try to stack wins, and go from there.
I know you said day by day all this stuff, but you're shooting 31% 2 days ago, and now you see 13 go in. Is there any sense of relief with that? I'm just finding my shot back, or what does that feel like? Just getting back on track that way.
No, I think I said this, maybe the first, maybe a month and a half ago, when y'all was asking me about my shot, and I said it always evens out. Like I always say, you gotta put the work in, obviously, but it's gonna even out. And so you're gonna start to see shots fall. I think any shooter would tell you that it's gonna be ebbs and flows, but it always evens out at the end of the day. So for me, I was just controlling what I can control, and that's putting in time at the gym, breaking down my shot through film, seeing the shots I took last year compared to this year, what's different about them, my balance, how much weight am I putting on one leg, am I holding my follow-through, is my follow-through drifting. It's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but if you put in that work and that time and you would naturally shoot the ball, you can naturally shoot the ball, it's always going to even out. So, and it's going to take, it took patience, and it probably took a lot longer than a lot of y'all wanted it to, a lot that I wanted to as well, but it'll always even out. You got to have that confidence that you'll get back to who you are.
Were there any of those things that you mentioned, your base or your, balance, anything like that. Was that changed from last year? Did you notice anything?
Yeah, I mean, maybe especially coming back from lower extremity, injuries, you tend to put more weight on the leg that's more healthy than the other one. So that was one of the things, and then just getting my legs up under me. And I think shot prep was big for me, just being ready to shoot, being down in the stance, having my hands ready, and then firing, letting it go, and then I think just sticking my follow through. So it's all detail stuff. It's all stuff that I can control, and then if you check those boxes, you live with the result, whether you miss or make.
Thanks, Coby.
Yeah.
All season, trying to generate great shots. I think we did that pretty well. I think last game 41 assists, this game 40 assists, and we just playing unselfish. The ball is moving. We shooting the ball with confidence, and it's just a testament to all the hard work we've been putting in.
One of the themes of this team this year has been the bench. Obviously, you're the big part of that. I mean, can you just talk about when the bench plays as well as they did tonight, that you guys have more than a good chance of winning games?
Definitely, just being ready to play, coming in always being aggressive. I'm always trying to find ways to impact the game and doing it at a high level. We have a lot of guys who are capable of starting. We have a lot of guys who have started in this league. So it's all about just going out there whenever your number is called and just being prepared and being ready to play and having fun and playing hard.
I got questions for you. What do you attribute your increase in your shooting this year? You've shot on and off, during your career, but this year you've been, you're in the top 10 currently in the league in shooting, three-point shooting. What's been the difference for you?
My faith, I would say. I always give credit to Jesus Christ, but also just putting the work in this summer. I had a lot of time to really think and watch film and watch ways how I can get better due to my shoulder surgery. So when I was able to come back, I was excited, and it gave me a different perspective, not being able to play the game that I love, and then having the game taken away from me gave me a different perspective. So when I came back and I was able to train, I just went extra hard. My dad, my brother, they put a lot of time in. My PD staffs here, Coach Pete, Austin, all of those guys, they also did a great job of being there with me and helping me find ways to increase my three-point percentage, and then just having confidence and just trusting my work. I put a lot of work into my shot, into my game, and now I'm just going out there just trusting it.
So now, you're probably not aware when before the drafts, I do my mock draft. I call around the league, ask a lot of executives questions. And I started asking about this guy from Illinois. I didn't see him play, but he was wearing a mask and stuff, so I didn't quite know who he was. They said, he can't shoot. He's not an NBA shooter.
Yeah.
He'll probably fall bottom of the first round into the second round because he won't be able to shoot.
Yeah.
Well, did you hear that then?
Yeah, I heard a lot of things coming out of college, and that's just noise, I would say. Once you put the work in and you find a consistent routine, that's what it's all about, just putting your head down, just getting better, just chopping wood each and every day. And I'm continue to do that, continue to put God first, trust in my faith, and then continue to trust in my work.
How much, I remember at one time you said you were going to remember the names of the 37 guys picked ahead of you or something like that.
Yeah.
How much is that kind of thing drives you? I don't know, positive, negative, no offense, but you've really turned around your game. You've become an elite shooter.
Yeah. I would say the motivation is just from, becoming a second-round draft pick, but also everything happens for a reason. If I wasn't a second-round draft pick, the Bulls had no first-round pick, so I probably wouldn't be here today. So I necessarily don't think about the names. I just look at it in a sense of just look how far I came. Look where I was at. Look at, the doubters, the naysayers, whatever it may be. And I just try to focus on getting better each and every game, getting better each and every day, trusting in my work. And then over a period of time, you look back, and then I let, you and everyone else here whose job that is to look back, okay, he could have went here, he could have went here. But I can't control it. I only can control what I can control. I'm here now. I'm blessed. I'm having a great time. I'm taking it day by day, enjoying each and every day. And, yeah.
Are you proud of your improvement? How far you've been coming?
Definitely, especially coming off of shoulder surgery. I think that alone probably has some naysayers there, and just trusting my faith. The faith, the trusting in Jesus Christ to get me through any obstacle. That's been my main thing, and I've been enjoying it, just enjoying the process, enjoying the season, the ups and downs. It's been great, and yeah.
How about one quick one? How about if the league asked you, would you participate in a three-point contest?
I mean, that like I told Casey, that'd be a question I had to answer if it was presented to me.
Do you feel like you look at yourself in that category
In what category?
of guys that could be potentially invited to the three-point contest, like premier elite of the elite three-point shooters?
I mean, I trust in my work. I just want to continue to get better. I trust in my work. You know, each and every day I go in, do my same routine. I trust in my work. So yes, I view myself as someone who can make shots at an elite level. But now it's all about just continuing to take it to another level, continuing to put God first, keep trusting in my faith, and just keep getting better. I'm all about just getting better each and every day, finding ways to get better each and every day, and that's what I'm all about.
One thing that stands out to me about your shooting is it's not coming at the expense of your rim attacks. Like your first inclination is still to attack the rim and the paint. How have you figured out the balance between knowing when to shoot threes and knowing when to rim attack? Is it just reading the defense?
Yeah, just watching film, reading the defense, trying to just master our offense, knowing where I can get shots at. You know, main thing I always try to do is get downhill, but I always also try to have a balance of, you know, what the defense is giving me. You know, that's what my dad always tells me. He used to always just say, take what the defense is giving me. So I just try to, you know, when I'm out there, I try to just simplify it, watch so much film. So now when I'm actually into the game, it's an easy read. And I've been able to get great looks and knock them down. But also, like you said, you know, not forgetting, you know, what one of my greatest strengths is my speed, my strength, being able to get downhill. And I think when I'm able to mix and match that, it's hard. I keep the defense off balance because now it's like, all right, they don't know. You close out short, I can shoot it. You go into the blurry screen, I can shoot it. But then if you pick up, I can get to the rim also. So that's all about, just like I said, getting better. And I just want to continue to get better.
Are there any shooters you watch? Anyone in the league particularly?
I watch everybody, to be honest. That's all I do is watch basketball. I watch everybody. I watch everybody routine. Yeah, you know, Coby, he's a great shooter. He's on my team, so I watch him a lot. I shoot with him. We shoot. I watch, of course, you know, I watch basketball. So each and every day, anytime I have some free time, I'm just tuning on to games, just watching different guys, because I think that's how you get better. You get better by studying your peers, you know, the good, the bad. I think you can learn a lot from your peers, and that's what I try to do.
Thanks,
Thanks a lot.